Hi, this is Frank DeMore with the Last Chronicles of Planet Earth, and again, this is May the 10th, 2012, getting right into prophecy here. I wanted to show you a prophecy from Revelation chapter 18, and I'm going to tie this in with the another prophecy found in Ezekiel, and you'll see how I connect both these prophecies together because these are signs of the last days. Of course, in Revelation chapter 18, verse 12, it says this: the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all citron wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of the most precious wood and of bronze and of iron and of marble. And so what I wanted to concentrate here, let's just take a look at gold, because Jesus showed us in Revelation chapter 18:12 that the people living in the last days were going to consider gold very, very precious. It had to be, because obviously you don't wail and you don't cry over things that aren't any value to you. And so over the course of these many years, if you look at my website, you'll see that I've been warning about the prices of gold and silver going up, and of course there's other metals as well as the bronze and so forth, and you can see the prices going up. Why they going up is because we're heading right towards the beginning of the 7-year tribulation, and the closer we get to it, you'll find out that the prices will go up. One of the reasons why the prices of gold and silver will skyrocket in the future is because when the world economy collapses, gold and silver that really holds their value are going to be one of the leading currencies, if you will, a hard currency, the gold and the metals. They'll be exchanging or bartering, if you will, and we see gold now being bartered to help bail out Iran, for example. Now, this is how I'm going to tie this in. At least you'll know that there is some items that the world will be crying over. And this is, of course, the unrighteous people who have been left behind after the rapture, and now they find themselves in the tribulation period. And here is a map of Ezekiel, the Ezekiel war that is beginning to come down. We know that the major nation who's going to lead this attack on Israel, which we find this prophecy in Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39. He gives us all the details about this prophecy and this war there. We know that Russia will be coming from the northern quarters. It even says it, the direction in the scriptures where they'll be coming from. It talks about it in Ezekiel 38 and in 39 about this attack coming from the northern quarters. Now, Russia will lead it. And here's some of the Old Testament names of Russia. And here you'll see Togarmah. Now, Togarmah is, in the Old Testament, that's the name for it, but it's the modern day name of, guess what? Turkey. And so here's another map, if you will, and these, again, different nations that are involved in the war. You'll see Russia to the north. And of course, when the Lord said they'll be coming from the northern quarters, you'll see most of these countries are coming directly from these northern quarters. And you'll see North Turkey here, which is Togarmah. And so some of the other nations that will be involved in this war from Ezekiel chapter 38, you'll see it, he tells us. And you'll see this, it says Gog, the leader of the Russian invasion of Israel, that's who Gog is. Magog, Matesh, and Tubal compromise the modern day Russia. Now Persia, you'll know Persia pretty well because modern day Persia is called Iran. Persia was in the Old Testament name for it. And so we see Cush is actually Ethiopia and Sudan combined. And one of my posts, I show you that there was a prophecy in the book of Isaiah that tells us that this nation would be divided in the last days, and that the people, when they divided it, would put up a new standard, and this new standard would be put up in the mountains, and these people would bless Israel. And so we know that this year, South Sudan broke away from Sudan, and now they're a new nation. They have a new flag that they put up in the Nuba Mountains north. I mean, they fulfilled this prophecy to the letter, by the way. And so we know that the northern part of Sudan is predominantly Muslim, whereas the south is predominantly Christians, and they are fighting right now. They just started again to fight, and it's over the oil in this Sudanese area. And so we summarize, because the southern part is predominantly Christians, they'll know, at least I hope they'll know, maybe if they're watching this video now, that they will not attack God's people, because we know from Zechariah 12:3, anybody who attacks Israel or burdens themselves over Jerusalem are going to be cut into the pieces. So a good way to destroy your entire army is to attack Israel, because God will come against you. That's what's happening in the Ezekiel chapter 38 war. God is coming to protect his people. When they come down from all these different directions, these millions of people, and everybody in the world who doesn't know Bible prophecy or doesn't know the Lord will think that Israel's going to get wiped out, completely destroyed this time, and that's not going to happen. And of course, you'll see Libya, or Put is the Old Testament name, Libya, and this would include today's three countries of Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco. And you've seen the problems that each one of these countries have had over the Arab uprising. As a matter of fact, Libya just lost Omar Gaddafi after his 40-some years of being a dictator in that country. And now they're getting a Islamic state there. And of course, this all agrees and flows to what we see from the Psalm, or the Ezekiel 38 war. Libya's down here. You'll see Libya right here, and they will be attacking as well. So, and finally, you have Golmar, which is East Germany, and if you've been following the news, you'll see that the influx of people coming in from Turkey going into Germany has been in the news lately, because they want to stop the Germans, and people in the European Union want to stop the influx of Muslims coming, migrating to the European Union nations, because of the problem with Sharia law and the problem with jobs and austerity budgets, and they want to keep all immigrants out. But there's a huge, huge population of Muslims who live in Germany now, and that's why I believe when it talks about Golmar being involved in this war, because there's such a high population of Muslims, I believe that it will be this section of the Germany that will be coming down with the Allies in this Ezekiel chapter 38 war. And then Beth Togarmah, is Turkey and Armenia. And Turkey, of course, is a major influence in the Middle East. And I wanted to bring to your attention what was going on now with the gold, because, like I said, I wanted to bring the current events as we're seeing, as they relate to Revelation chapter 18. So with that, let me go to an article now, and you'll see why I'm putting Turkey in there and why I'm telling you about the gold. And obviously, gold has been on the front pages for this last year and a half. Russia is buying up all kinds of gold. I mean, multi-million dollars of gold. India is doing the same thing. China, and I'm talking about like $600 million worth of gold. China, Germany, and India doing the same thing. Now, Turkey, you notice the headline, Turkey bails out Iran with what? With gold. And this is the reason. Turkey is bailing out Iran and Arab Spring countries. I just got through talking to you about the Arab Spring countries and how they're all aligning. One of the reasons why you'll see this Arab Spring uprising is because they're forming, the puzzle is coming together about this war, about two wars, Psalm 83 and Ezekiel chapter 38. And I found it very interesting that the Lord put both of these wars that haven't been fulfilled yet, and they just flipped the numbers. Psalm 83, Ezekiel 38. The numbers flipped, but they're two wars that haven't been fulfilled yet. So Iran is about ready to bailing out. Iran and the Arab Spring countries with huge amounts of gold exports that have bolstered its trade balance. Iran and the countries facing Arab Spring rebellions have bought hundreds of millions of dollars worth of gold from Turkey as they tried to protect their wealth from depreciating currencies. The Iranian rial has plummeted. This is the name of their currency, the rial, has plummeted following tighter sanctions posed by the United States. It says Turkey's export of gold, jewelry, and precious metals to Iran jumped last month by more than 35 times than in March 2011, reaching 480 million, according to a statistical report by Bloomberg. Now, it's a balance of trade this year has improved by $4.3 billion, partly due to the gold exports, a research company told Balkan.com. And Turkey's assistance to Iran is in direct opposition. Here we go. Opposition to the Obama administration's efforts to punish the Iranian economy, depending on oil export until it cooperates with the United Nations and allow full inspections of its nuclear facilities. So far this year, Turkey has exported more than $1 billion in gold and precious metals. And Bloomberg reported that Istanbul Gold Exchange official estimate that the government has nearly 5,000 tons of gold worth $265 billion stashed under the pillow. So, here we go. We see gold. Jesus tells us that they're going to be crying over the gold in the last days. Now, obviously, there is definitely a connection here. And it's one of the reasons why nations, one after another, are buying up millions, as you see from this article, millions of dollars worth of gold. And again, and once the economy and the currencies of the world falls apart, you're going to see gold go up and silver go up like you have never seen before. It's going to be ridiculous. The price is going to be ridiculous. Now, here's a lot of the people say, wow, man, I better run out and buy gold and silver all I can right now. Well, in a way, that would be correct. In a way, let me say that it's not going to help, in a manner of speaking, and I want to tell you how. You can buy all the silver and all your gold you want right now, and it would be a great investment right now, because gold and silver are going to keep going up. There might be a little bit decrease, but it's going to go up. That's the trend. That's what's been happening. It's going up. And so people, that as long as the church is still here, it would be a good investment, because gold and silver, they hold their value. Unlike, as you can watch your currency from the United States, for example, the currency or the dollar is devaluating. It cannot buy you the same thing that it bought you 2 years or 5 or 10 years ago. Now, you might have went to the grocery store and paid $1 and got 3 different items. But today, 5 years later, those 3 different items, you might have to pay $3 for, because the dollar has declined. But the gold and the silver are holding their value. So in this case, it would be a good investment. And if you have the proper perspective about the gold and the silver, knowing that your treasure lies in heaven and not on earth, and you're just using this money to make investments, and maybe you're one of those Christians who want to take the gold and the silver and make income from it to help spread the word of the Lord, the Bible. And there's certainly a blessing for spreading the word of the Lord. But here's the bottom line. Gold and silver can be used as a venture to make money, as long as your heart is right and you don't serve God and mammon. In other words, you're not going to serve gold, your wealth, and serve God. They just don't mix. You have to have the proper perspective, and that would be first seek the kingdom of God, and He will honor your if you will, your desire to save the gold and the silver, because He knows your heart is right, and He knows that this gold and the silver did not come before Jesus. Now, here's the bad side about it. If you hoard the gold and the silver, and you think that this gold and the silver is going to change your life, and you don't know the Lord, and you want to hoard it, well then, when the rapture takes place, and you're left with your gold and the silver, eventually your gold and the silver will be taken away from you. And we know this for a fact because let me show you here, I'll just scroll down here, because here we see in Revelation chapter 13, we see the mark of the beast going out. All right? So we could see this. And this is the point where the people who did not receive Jesus will be left behind. They're going to be in the tribulation. They can have all the gold and the silver they want. But then the day will come when the Antichrist is going to force everybody to take his mark. We see this in this chapter. And so if you don't take it, you will be killed. You'll be martyred. But at least you'll be able to get into heaven. Now, if you take it, you're going to hell. And this is why I have the flame burning. It's a reminder that for all those who take the mark of the beast will end up in the lake of fire forever. You can't get out. You're there for eternity. Now, in my video that I put up in the book of Revelation, the teaching that I'm doing, check out my last video. And you'll see more about this, about hell and what to expect once you get there. So getting back to this gold and the silver, so say, for example, the government of Turkey owns they own 5,000 tons of this gold, all right? Well, what's going to happen with all of this wealth when the Antichrist tells them, either you take the mark or you can't buy or sell anything? And that means it doesn't matter how much gold you have, you're not going to be able to buy anything with it. So it becomes useless to you. And we know when this is going to happen because the Lord showed us in the book of Revelation. This is when it's going to happen. And also in the book of Revelation that I was just pointing out to you, that in the Revelation chapter 18, this is when they're going to be crying and wailing over their lost gold. So it all comes together in the climax, fulfillment of prophecy during the tribulation period. So this is how we tie in the gold and the silver in the coming wars, and they're happening. We see these signs in the news every single day just about now, and they are signs that the Lord is coming soon. I hope that the Holy Spirit is speaking to you, showing you, teaching you, getting you ready to meet Him when He comes at the rapture, because we don't believe that it's that far off. I personally don't believe that it's that far off, just by the fact that all of the signs that have taken place are here before us, and we know there's only very few signs left before the major prophecies like Psalm 83 and Ezekiel are fulfilled. But we can go home. The church can go home at any time. So you have to be ready today, not tomorrow, because if it were to happen today, you would be, as I said so many times in my post, catapult right into the tribulation period, and you don't want to be there, that's for sure. So thanks again for allowing me to come into your homes and to show you the signs of the times leading to the blessed hope of the Lord Jesus Christ and His coming.